The Rock it to stop a lot of my recurring accounts from finishing their story in my bank account. Tim O'Mageer has written, as far as I'm concerned, Dwayne Johnson ruined his own image completely and single-handedly with the first two actions he did once there. Within 48 hours of being on the TKO board, he put himself into the main event title picture and said, F you to all the fans invested in Cody's story after not wrestling for almost 8 years himself and put his stump of a daughter as GM of NXT. Kevin, are you as offended as Tim O was?
It's almost like it's an angle.
Almost, right? You'd think that they're in some way going to benefit from this.
You would think that, I mean, and the fact that Cody just submitted, just gave
it up.
I mean, wins the Royal Rumble, boom. I don't want it. I need clarity what the story is now. Obviously, it's
to finish the story.
Obviously, he's got a few more matches with the poison spitter before
he's got to be completely blinded before he finishes his story.
Jesus, I mean, he got him Saturday night in Knoxville, and it caused the bull rope match on Raw, and lo and behold, he gets spit on in that one. It's just, I don't know.
He's taken more on his face than Christy Canyon in a short amount of time.
I'd love it if somehow this all worked out, and the main event was Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania, and right before they locked up, Roman spit red shit in his face and beat him 1, 2, 3.
And he took the back bump, finger poke of doom.
Yes.
Red mist of doom.
Red mist of doom.
Text Paul. We'll give it to him. No charge.
Yep. And the reason being that the head of the table knows how to do it much better. They showed a picture of, I saw it on the internet. It was probably computer generated or whatever, but they showed like Roman, like when he won it, and then Roman now. He looked like Lincoln after the Civil War. You know, he's aging. He's been champion for so long.
Mm-hmm. It's like those with the presidents at the end of the term where the gray has come in. And
I really, like, at this point, man, it's like if you put this much into it, you've got to keep it going.
Well, all right, let's back up for a second. Rock, this is in the works for a long time. No one believes that any of this came up in the last few weeks. Okay, Rock's deal with the board, the $30 million, the match, all of it, it's in the works.
Oh, come on, Dwayne! You don't think Dwayne just shoots from the hip?
Oh, you think like he just thought of it last week? Yeah. Hey, listen, I got an idea. Yeah.
Yeah, he was taking a dump and he went, wait a minute. I'll do something where maybe I touch my arm and say, well, I got chills, and I'll come down and I'll take over the whole show.
So with this in mind, Cody still wins the Rumble.
Yes.
And before January, whatever it was, this was locked.
But also, we're going to be throwing in some things here. This is before Punk is now injured, so what if there was an audible? What if Punk was going to go over in the Rumble and he said, hey man, I'm fucked up? But he said, what do you mean you're fucked up? Because I had MRI 4 months ago before I signed, and I'm fucked up. I can't go. Toss me out. Oh, it's just too much conspiracy theory. Never mind.
Yeah, are we gonna do the Zapruder? Are we gonna talk about the bullet on the gurney?
We have to. I mean, it's because everyone knows that when you read something, especially anything legal. When you read that, that's it, man. There's no other. That's the Warren. Like, how many times have you? Every time I read the Warren Commission, I'm just because
Oh,
I
every
started.
time you read it, every time
Yeah,
you read the Warren report.
every time I read the Warren Commission, I say to myself, man, this thing always ends the same way. You would think that Oliver Stone was like just nailed that shit, man. Maybe I'll just watch the film.
But without conspiracy theory, they're handing out Rocky sucks signs. Okay, this is confirmed. Sure, fans are bringing them, but WWE are handing it out, right? So this is unquestionably, despite the furious fans, despite the truly horrific threats to Dwayne's daughter, this is what wrestling promoters want. This is what it's designed to do.
This is Hogan
Keep people
coming down
guessing.
and dropping a leg on Macho Man. This is right
All
now.
the garbage you guys were pelted with
Yes.
sodas and popcorn and shit because the fans were furious.
And the
This
thing
is the
is, on
reaction
top
you
of
work hard
all
to get.
this, you have to realize that you can say that, oh, you really think that this happened 2 days ahead of time? I promise you, fucking when we went to the ring, I wasn't sure Hogan was coming down. That's how close that thing was back and forth. So there's shit that goes down in this business, and you can keep shit real tight up at the top if you want to. And I look at it this way: people can say whatever they want to. I mean, I watched a couple of different podcasts, like wrestling podcasts, and people were like, I took off from work and I drove, and I'm fucking pissed off, and this is bullshit, and it's just like, if you've got people taking off from work because they want to go to the arena to see what the actual response is from, because they think it's being doctored on television. So they want to come. I'm going to go and get to the bottom of this, dude. I mean, you're taking a work that everybody knows is a work, and you've made it a shoot.
It's real to them.
It's absolutely real to them, and I mean to the point where, and I'm enthralled. I don't know where it's going.
There's a press conference tomorrow. Let's just say
we were talking about this before the show. I could give two fucks about watching some work wrestling fucking press conference,
quote unquote press conference.
right? But
however,
I will definitely, if I don't watch it, I will definitely, by the end of an hour after it's finished, I'll know everything that's said about it, because I want to know where it's going.
Right. That's what this whole business is about.
Yes.
This is what it tries to do 52 weeks a year, every TV show, forever, is get the fans passionate and invested and believing something about it. Even if they know that everything's predetermined and all that, and, Rock doesn't really hate anybody and Roman's not really mad at anybody, but they don't know what's going to happen. And it was what Russo tried to do, writing television, went to great lengths to have people not know what the hell was going to happen next week. People are passionate again. They're angry again. Paul has a raging boner about this, no doubt, as does Rock. He knows the value of this, and hopefully all the guys there.
People forget how good of a fucking heel Rock was, and people also forget how quick in Toronto Rock made the adjustment on Hogan when the building made the adjustment with Hulk.
Oh, WrestleMania, yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah, that
like,
was huge.
yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, man, but and I think Roman's been a great champion. I think he's a great he's a star. He's somebody that I would go pay and see, but not as much as Dwayne. He'll never
So
be
you think
Dwayne.
there's a payoff maybe for Cody?
Rock. What I mean, number one, I think that they're going to want to for Roman to be of the modern generation the longest champion. I think they want to erase the Hogan
The
era.
Hogan. Mhm.
I just think they do, and I think they want to start uh, basically clean from that era. And Romans, I mean, if you ever are going to do that, you're fucking you're about 200 days away from it right now. So this is as close as you know. The only thing that this company has done that am absolutely 100% sure should have never happened was I never like you never should have beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. That streak, there was no upside to ever doing anything with that because every WrestleMania you have going forward, you had a 10-minute package about that streak. And you could have touched it. You could have where Mark is now. I mean, that was something that was special. There was no reason to ever, you know, to beat Mark.
Mhm.
And it did not. It did nothing for Brock. Brock was if anybody was going to beat Taker, it should have been Bray in Dallas. I think that's where it was. Am I right, Steve? Was it in Dallas that they had that match?
So,
San Francisco.
having said that,
I'm talking about the one with Bray, not the one with Lesnar.
so how do you get Cody
Yes.
to Dwayne?
Well, number one, you've got to. I think that
And have Roman keep the title?
well, Roman's got to go over on Dwayne.
Does he become damaged goods for Cody now? Should it be Cody that pins Rock in this iteration of Rock's run in WWE? You're going to have him
What are you
lose
gonna
to
do?
Roman and then lose to Cody?
You're gonna take the belt off. You're gonna take the belt off of Roman and put it on
No,
Dwayne.
that's what I'm saying. Now you're in a conundrum because you want to on one hand you'd want to protect the reign, and then on the other hand you want to get Cody to Rock because that's obviously a higher profile. I mean,
Depends
dare I say there's more significance in Cody pinning The Rock
well, that's what I'm saying.
than
So you
Roman?
have to. You've got to go back and look at because I don't think anybody has. So now I said, so the first thing I would have to do is I would have to go back and dissect Cody passing the baton to Rock. So I'd have to look at that and see where, because if they've left some breadcrumbs, you'll find them, and then to slowly, you know, or we can just say seeds for the fact of, and then you go back and you water those seeds to where you basically Cody does Rock a solid. Rock turns around and shoves it up Cody's ass. Now the only thing that's more important to you than being the world champion at that point is you being a man and this person basically shitting in your face. So it's just like now it becomes personal between Rock, which becomes bigger than the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a stepping stone of he can still go after that record's beat. Who's to say he doesn't? How many days is SummerSlam away?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Where would it be? It would have to be August, right? It would have to be SummerSlam. It's your next big pay-per-view, so. Are they still on Peacock? Yeah, they're still on. This whole year, they're still on Peacock. The Netflix thing doesn't kick in until January 25, I think, right? So
you still guys. I mean, we made reference to the fact that a couple episodes ago how many can you have too many top guys?
right.
And it's just like we laughed, saying and then all of a sudden it was like
All the injuries.
yeah. But I think again now, am I the only one that noticed that Drew came down? He came down in between weeks. He came down in a black tank top and jeans. Then he came down in the leather kilt with a leather coat. And then this Monday, he came down again in like street clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like so he's definitely being figured into the mix more.
Mm.
And I'll tell you one thing, man, of that fucking headbutt. The camera angle is great. Seth sold it great. Drew delivered it great. That headbutt that he gave Seth at the end of that segment was fucking spot on. I mean, it was the only thing missing was when he did it, I said, like, fuck, did he hardway him? I was like, oh, fuck. Man, if he would have got color right there. Because that would have taken that up just. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, the Bash of Berlin is August. They ain't doing that. They're not gonna.
So it's wherever SummerSlam.
I don't know
would be,
though,
right?
man. Though, God, at the same time, fuck, do something overseas. Open up, I mean, you quit thinking. There's so many movie, like the movies were the first to do it. That were this, they would come out and they would say, we're going to do $400 million with this movie, and all of a sudden it was like, yeah, we can do 400 million, but we can do another 800 million in China, another, and then start thinking more and which this company definitely does in a global financial status.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean that's where your growth is. I mean,
Yeah.
because with Netflix, you you're no longer on something that is restricted to the United States. You're on a global fucking network now.
And there is a push. We got was it Berlin, Germany in August, and then Steve. Before that, there's France, right? We're France on May 4th. I want to say May 4th. Let's see here. Yeah, so May 4th for Backlash. And are they touring? Are they in? So Birmingham in there. All right,
No,
so they're
because
back to the
they're
States.
they're getting ready for the Olympics in the summer in France.
So yeah, no, you're right. The emphasis on international.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I think that's
It's
where your
another
play
stream.
is.
It's market.
You've got it. Yeah, you've got to fuel that Netflix. That's your moneymaker now.
You think you'd ever come to a point where